Good evening, viewers, and welcome to Calypso Showcase. Tonight, our special guest is Sylvester Lockhart. We know him in the Calypso world as Poser. Poser, welcome to Calypso Showcase.
Thank you very much, Alvin.
Well, it's obvious how you got the name Poser, but is it a name that you adopted for yourself, or was it given to you by someone else?
No, yeah, actually, it was given to me by someone. Way back in the early 60s, I used to be working at the textile mills in Arima. And I used to be singing on the machine while the machine working. I would not have full-fledged calypso in yet. And this guy came up to me, a friend of mine, and he said, but what is your calypso name? I know you want to go in town and sing, but what is your calypso name? So I said, I didn't have any name. And you know, those days you had to have a sobriquet. You know, it's not like now that you could say, well, Sylvester Lockhart or David Rada, you know, that sort of thing. So he said, you know what, the way you're dressed to come to work, I think the best thing for you is Poser. and it stuck from there. Yeah.
Right. Now, I know you're a calypsonian and do a lot of traveling. What sort of traveling have you been doing in the last couple of months?
Well, actually, since Carnival, you know, I've been traveling all over North America, England, the Caribbean, the Virgin Islands, you know. And especially Jamaica, I would like to specify, you know, because a lot of soca music is being played there now on the Cayman Islands, you know. I've recently come out of the Cayman Islands together with Marvin Brooks, who used to be one of Byron Lee's leading singer, you know. He does a lot of soca and reggae. Fantastic guy. And I've completed a show in Jamaica, 3 shows, with another reggae singer recently, just 2 weeks ago.
And what do you have lined up for the rest of the year?
Well, actually, I leave here on Saturday for Washington. I have a show in Washington on Saturday. And I'm going to come back to work on the album for next year. And then I leave on the 3rd for a show in the Cayman Islands again, and the 5th for Washington again.
What?
And then I have to complete the year, the 11th and the 12th in Chicago and Atlanta.
Very good indeed.
Yeah.
So a true ambassador for Trinidad and Tobago.
I try.
Well, we're going to talk about your new album later on, but first of all, we want to present, as usual, the pre-edited video on the life and the Calypso life of Poser. When we come back, you can call him, chat with him, throw a question at him, whatever you like. But for now, let's journey up to the Queen's Park Savannah. Just behind you used to be a building called the Princess Building, home of Kitchener's Review Calypso tent, the late 70s, early 80s. Tell us about the significance of this location to you.
Well, actually in 1979, while I was attached with the Kitchener Calypso Review, this is where the tent was housed. And I remember well that year that after the tent had opened in Arima the Friday night, I sang a song that did not go down too well with the audience. And again on Saturday night, I sang the same song. And then while standing in the yard intermission time, Kitchener came out to me and told me that you sang a song in the audition, something about smoke something, smoke some kind of thing. Sing a verse and chorus for me. And I started to sing the verse. And when I break into the chorus, he said, that is the song. That is the song I want you to sing. Do it for me tomorrow night in Skinner Park. The tent was going Skinner Park on the Sunday night. And he asked me to sing that song for him if it's just that one night. And the tent went down to Skinner Park, and I sang the song.
Are we going to come back to that big song of 1979, Atelchi or Smokawati? But you know, before this building burned down, your career began many years before that. And we want to throw your mind back to your early Calypso years. So let's talk about how your Calypso career began.
Okay, well, I started singing. I used to sing in Sangre Grande as the Sangre Grande Calypso monarch a couple of years before I came into Port of Spain. So actually, I would say I was singing there for about 63 to 68 because I won 5 crowns in Sangre Grande before I came into Port of Spain. And in 1967, when the CDC used to have these unattached, these road shows, they will take a bus with Calypsonians and send them to Toco and Sangre Grande, Mayaro, Rio Claro to entertain the public, and they pay the Calypsonians. I used to be the local boy from Sangre Grande every year. And that year, it was Art Decoto's band, and Mr. Ronald Williams and Prince Cumberbatch were on spot. And I sang a song about the advice to parents how to train the children.
Can you remember that song?
Not at this time.
Any of the early songs from 63 to 68 stuck in your memory?
I had one called A Message from Sniper that I sang that used to make people used to cry in the tent when I sang it. That was after Sniper died, you know. That one, I remember a little piece, you know. But that particular song, I would have to go back in the files and
pull it out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was a heavily lyrical song. You know?
So how did your career develop from then?
Okay, well, Ronnie and Prince said this boy has a lot of talent and we're gonna help him. They call Art Decoto and they told him he's gonna come to you tomorrow and get the music done. Write the music. He's gonna sing with the CDC 10 from the very next night. So Arthur couldn't complete the music that night, so I didn't sing. So I started singing the following night. As when the CDC tent used to be Independence Square. I started there, $9 a week, and I used to pay $5 or $6 for the union fees to the Calypsonian Association. So I used to work PTSC, you know. So when they had the tent over in the night, I had to run from there to Independence Square to catch the Workman bus, which leaves at 12:30. So if I'm on stage anytime, a little before 12:30, I had to cut the song and take off to catch the bus, or else I can't reach home because the money wasn't allowed. The passage couldn't, you know. So that's how I happened to come in town with Chu Ronald and Prince Cumberbatch and Art Decoto.
That's what they call paying your dues, eh?
Yes. Yeah.
What was the first tune that you would say that you would consider one of your better compositions before, let's say, you became a public figure? 79, I sang a song, Save Some. That song also was one of the songs that took me to the finals on that night. Well, it's very significant that we are also very close to the Grand Savannah. So let's go to 79 when you not only won the road match, but made it all the way to the finals. And let's talk about everything that happened in that year, 1979. You speak about a tune called Save Some. Tell us a little bit more about that tune.
Well, Save Some, actually, I was saying that my grandfather told me that money is a very precious thing. And regardless of what you do, if you gamble some, you drink some, you give your woman some, whatever, you should save some.
It's my grandfather, is he tell me, listen, poser, you gotta save money. For money is such a precious thing. Without money, you ain't nobody. If you're black or white, or you're green or blue, without money, dog better than you. And he tell me, eat some, you could drink some, you could throw away some, but some, save some. When he say, eat some, you could drink some, you could throw away some, but some, save some. La 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 la.
And I tell she was a nice party song that took the country by storm. You know, I never thought, as a matter of fact, the year before, I was telling Explainer that I think I'm going to get out of this business because I had been singing some relatively good songs and I was not even making the semi-finals. And I think this business is not for me. And Explainer said, I think you should give it one more shot. He did say that. And I did give it one more shot, and that was it. I had a record before, that year before, something about Crawford, Hazley Crawford, and Penny Commission. And when I did that record, the producer was not the type of person who were really into the record business. And Semp Studios, we did it there. The guy said this guy had the ability to sing, so we're going to record him next year. And they did, I tell she. And if I hadn't listened to Explainer a little bit, I might have gone out of the business because the next year I won the road match. You know?
There are two things that struck me about that tune. One, I went to a little fete in PSA, and all of a sudden I realized that the bands had learned this tune overnight. And I said, this looks like a road match contender. It picked up late.
Yes, definitely. And I remember in the tent here, Edward Snee used to come here nights after night and say, Poser, go down in the fete and see what happening. You go win the road match. it's not until the last week or so that I really went to a fete and see what was happening. You know, it was like everybody. And there was a woman who I have to give a lot of credit to. She was popular in the modeling thing, Yvonne Brown. She was my manager that year. And she decided, Poser, somehow you had to win this road match. She'd get the records to the different DJs. She would go into a fete and tell the DJ, you have to play that tune. She will tell the band, you have to play that, you know.
Yeah.
And I saw steel bands learn the tune Carnival Day on the road,
Yeah.
you know. But unluckily for me, too, that year, all the steel bands was playing the tune, and that is the year they boycott the Savannah.
But you still won the road match. Another thing that struck me was that, you know, they used to pick 12 Calypsonians to go to Tobago and do a road show. And there it is, all out of the blue, we saw Poser's name on the list. And when you went to Tobago, it was mass in Tobago.
That was one of the most beautiful year in Calypso for me. You know, it was like, hey, I on the plane going to Tobago, you know. I was selected to go to Tobago to perform, you know. I felt like Stalin was there. That year he won the Monarch too. And Stalin and myself were singing
like Stalin, Sparrow, Kitchener, all the big guns.
All the big guns. So I came alive. I knew that something was happening, you know. I felt really good that year. It was really, really good.
And Tobago responded well?
Oh, Tobago, they went crazy. They went mad.
No.
A little girl came down from the country, saying how she want to be some party, but she don't know how to move around with them boys and them in town. So she find no other body to come and ask but me. So I tell she, find a party, smoke a watty, when you're finished, drink a Guinness, find a corner, snatch a mister, now your head bad, squeeze the man hard, and when the lights dim, you can start grooving. She say how she parents in the country don't allow she to go to no party. So this little break you see her get come out to be fair. A party could be OC, Poser, a beating that. So I tell she, let me hear. When you finish, drink a Guinness, find a corner, snatch a mister, now your head bad, squeeze the man hard, and when the lights dim, you could start grooving. Goodbye, little.
Now, after 1979, looking at your material, I felt that you were looking for this magical party tune to win the road match again. You did a couple party tunes after between 80 and 82. Tell us about your efforts to compose that other road match, if we may call it that.
Well, I've been looking for something to really try to pull off the road match again, but my main intent really was to captivate my audience with more humor. If you notice, most of my party songs are very humorous. Mm-hmm. I like, you see, I like what I do. I enjoy everything on stage. So when I sing, and I like to see people laughing and responding. Now, some party tunes do not go over big in the tent. They go over big in the soca village, in port services where people party. Because when the people come to a tent, they sit down, they listen to lyrics, a lot of heavy lyrics and stuff, or a lot of humor. And I when I sang "I'm Going on Party Tonight," and that was a party song, and I see what was happening, I decided there and then that look, all my party songs could be a little laid back and very humorous. I mean, the laid back type cannot really win you the road match, except the bands decide to play it and play it up tempo, you know. But my intent was international topics, where the serious songs is concerned, and humor in the party song, laid back, humorous song.
Well, I remember one or two little ditties you did in the early 80s, like a tune called Rock Party or something like
Yes,
that.
Tongman too. Tongman.
Well,
yeah.
Tongman was 1982, which took you in the 7. We'll talk about 1982 now if you like. Tell us about Tongman.
Well, Tongman, well, like, you know, I born in the country, you know, and it's a friend of mine who came up with the idea, a guy named Frankie in Sandy Grande, who came up with the idea, and he said, look, you're a country boy and you're going in town and sing Calypso, and you had to show them what countryman could do. You know, Tongman is man, but countryman is more man, and the idea, it clicked, you know, and I decided to do a little two-fold double meaning with the song and thing, and it worked, you know.
It clicked.
Yeah, it clicked.
Old Miss Dorothy from Sandy Grande, still looking for men. You could ask, come in, actually. One day in front me, Dorothy, what kind of man gives you satisfaction? Must the man be from the country? She said, look around and find me a man from town. Cause she want the tongue man, she like the tongue man, she love the tongue man. Gives she the tongue man. She said the countryman gives satisfaction. Of course he could jam, but tongue man have more action. Tongue man, she want the tongue man. She love the tongue man. She said tongue man is man. Go, go. All right.
The other song for Granny?
Granny's Advice.
Granny's Advice.
That was one of the songs on the album that year too, man. That was one of my bigger, heavier, lyrically strong Calypso.
What prompted that?
My grandmother is who I was brought up with, you know, and she had recently died, you know. And I always remember the things she used to say to me, you know. As a matter of fact, I'm not flying in gold trees, but I was not happy the way that she died or the time that she died, because it was just the time when things started happening for me, and I felt I could have done something for her there and then, you know. And it all came to, you know, remember what Granny said, you know, and with all the pressure and thing that I was going through after her death, you know, I felt that it was time to put something together to remember, because this is a song I play at least even 3 times a month. I would lay and play the cassette and go back in times, you know what I mean? So it keep bringing back the memories of Granny's advice, the things she will tell me, despite the fact that things ain't working for you and you're seeing who coming after you and pass and getting more than you. Work for what you want. By the sweat of thy brow, thou shalt eat bread. Just keep at it, and one day, if it's for you, you're going to get it.
Is my granny, old Miss Harry, came and meet me, crying bitterly, what you crying for? Then she said, oh, listen my son, don't worry about your position, though you might see plenty people coming after and pass you poser, but please don't stop. Poser, don't give up, for when the time comes, you bound to reach the top. And she told me later, my son, later, in the future, things could be better. But you've got to work hard for what you want. Don't just sit down there and feel things going to come your way.
How do you go about composing your tunes?
Well, I look for a melody first. I try to get a melody. I like nice, sweet melodies. And when I get a melody, I play around with the melody. Then I look for a topic to enhance that melody, you know. And that's about it. That's how I do it. Calypso is madness.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You would be surprised that we would sit down here now and I would write a song right here. And then you would find that a particular song will take almost a year to write.
Yeah. Let's go to 1984 and talk about a tune like Where's Johnny Going?
Where Johnny gone? I guess probably I was looking at Chalk Dust and those guys and seeing where he was heading with the political thing and felt that I could do something too. Time to jump in too. But I did it and it didn't work for me. I don't think that is my kind of thing. You know, if you look around, you will see that there are certain Calypsonians who sing political songs and it worked for them. It happened. You know, it's like a guy who want to come and be a MC or give a joke, and that's not his thing. It don't work. You could give the best a joke, and it ain't you. It ain't gonna work. And as soon as Sprang Alarm or Tommy Joseph come, that's it. It worked with them. You know. So I tried the way Johnny gone thing, and it heard. They heard it. It was recorded. Right. I sang it in the tent, and everybody was like, "This ain't Poser.
This is not Poser.
This is not Poser."
We all want Johnny to come back, to clear his name that he left black. From the time Johnny joined them is called, all of them in bubble, all of them used to take, but Johnny make a mistake, so then he just run out on them, leaving them with the problem. So let we ask them and see if they could find him for we. Come away, Johnny gone, Johnny gone to Panama. Johnny fully pocket and run, Johnny gone to Australia. Georgie way, Johnny gone, Johnny gone to Africa. Johnny fully back and he done, Johnny gone America.
Now it's strange that you didn't do better that year, because you had another tune called "Remember Where I Come From" or "Where You Come From," you know, which I thought was a nice little double. Tell us about that? "Remember Where You Come From."
Well, Alvin, I have remained the kind of guy who have stayed with my people. You know, like some people say, there are certain artists that things go to their head and they forget the people and they forget where they come from. I have remained one of the Calypsonians who have stayed with my people.
The village where you was born, all the people and them treat you like their son. Your family, they were very poor, and your old man died when you was 4. Is this Dr. Fella who took you to town? And today you return in big position. These same people, man, they need your help. But today I see you all for yourself. But I say, remember where you come from. You come from the bottom. You show where your people, and the people help you. But the higher you climb fall, is the harder you could fall.
There was a time that that same year that I won the road match in 1979, somebody, I think the year Bill Trotman had Mommy, I want to go back to school. And we was running so close that somebody got on the air and said that they interviewed Bill. Bill, like, you're going to win the road match and so and so. And he was playing mass. And then they said, well, what about, they asked Bill, what about Kitchener boy from Arima? Now, I think they had meant, since Kitchener was from Arima, you know, and I from that area, they put me in the same, as an Arima. And you know, that offended a lot of people, because they said that I was the one who said that I from Arima. And for a long time, I wanted to get that cleared up. I am not even from Sandy Grande. I was born in a village called Matura, which is more in the bush, more on the Toko Road, 10 miles from Sandy Grande. I went to school in Sandy Grande, you know. There's no way, no how I will go on stage and say that I am from Arima. I would probably say Sandy Grande, which will enhance all the villages around, you know. But I would never say that. So I have stayed Sylvester Lockhart, Poser, the people's Calypsonian, you know. There is no way I would pass a friend who went to school with me in the road and throw water in with my car, like the song say. You know?
Now when you pass by us with your car, we have to pray the road and have no water. But I say, remember where you come from. You come from the bottom. You show where your people, and the people help you. But the higher you climb fall, is the harder you could fall.
And you always seem to be able to catch the slang of the day, like.
Well, you know, you had to look around for these little things, you know, to try to captivate the teenagers, you know. I mean, much of it hasn't been happening in Calypso. Much of the Calypsonians haven't been doing that, but I think as time go along, we had to look that way. We have to find out what the youths like, because more youths are getting into Calypso, into soca now. A lot more children are singing Calypso, and a lot more are paying attention to soca during the course of the year than long time it was just for Carnival. So if we could get these little hook lines, these things what they like to hear, do like Shabarangs, dancehall soca, like they had dancehall reggae.
Right.
But dancehall soca, I think we're gonna captivate their mind a little more, But you got to get a little line, the slang, what they using, like where you dig it,
I never shed tears, but my girl Vicky want to control me. This panorama, the mash grass, Grand Savannah. Any fat in tongue, she ain't missing none. Anywhere you turn, you're sure to see her Joan. And here she, we're digging mister, we're digging Rosa. Time changing, the woman controlling, she say. So we're digging mister, we're digging Rosa. Things changing, the woman controlling, she say. So we're digging.
A very significant location we have found there this evening. On one side, the burnt out Princess Building. On the other side, the Grand Savannah, the big yard where everybody aspired to.
Yeah, the big yard.
Talking about this use of slangs again, another slang that you turned into a Calypso was coke, is it?
Oh, yes. And that one was a bit controversial.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I there was no intent with me where by which certain people try to project,
Mm-hmm.
I saw an opportunity where I could have done a song with a twofold meaning. I mean, it cost me, because after a while, some of the people felt, because of what certain people projected, that Posa was singing about the drug, and I could not have come out and say that if I was paid by the company to sing about coke, or because it could have affected my airplay.
Right.
You understand? So I could not have said, well, okay, Cannons was paying me to advertise for them.
Right.
Bottom line. So I had to take my blows, whether that was so or not.
Right.
I had to take my blows. But I knew that there was no how I was going to promote cocaine.
The use of cocaine.
I am a family man. I have 8 lovely kids, and not one of them even drinks beer, as a matter of fact. So there's no way I would have projected. So I knew what I was doing, because I know what I had to gain from that, even away with the company as such, And that was my intent in the song, to promote the soft drink.
Every time you turn on your radio, you will hear the advertisement saying so. Like get about mama them mothers, home alone, getting all the honors. As the stickers stick up all about with it, telling each and everyone how coke is it. On the boat ride they use it coke. On the bus ride they use it coke. I tell you, in the party they use it. In the disco they use it. I tell you, they drink any whiskey they use it. They drink any brandy, coke is it. I tell you, coke is it. Coke is it. Coke is it. Coke is it.
Maybe I was wrong for doing that at that time, but I paid the penalties for it, because it took me 3 years after that for the people to really accept me as they should.
To remove the stigma.
Definitely so. And it will never happen again. I bet you that.
But full credit to you, though, the following year you came up with a tune that, well, I remember in Kitchener's tent. Now, except for the short stint at Spectacular, you've always been with Kitchener.
Yeah.
But this year, I think we were on Henry Street, opposite Spectacular Forum. And there was a girl one night that got up and she couldn't resist the party tonight thing. I think you had about 7 encores that night.
Oh, yes, yes. You know, Alvin, strange enough, that particular song is one of my biggest songs of my career. I'm going on party tonight. There's no show or no dance or whatever I do abroad or anyway that song is not included. It must be on the list of songs, you know. And party tonight, definitely at the Princess Building, not Princess Building, the Henry Street Building. I used to get like 7, 8, 9 encores.
Yeah.
That happened like the year with Smokawati.
Yeah.
She say I leave in me baby, but I'm making sure his teeth will make her red. Was I sing sweet Mary, you never take me to a party. It's always scary. You see about the baby, I'm going out with Harry. But things are changing. Was I ain't joking? It's my time for fetting. I'm going like party tonight. I will break on tonight. Man tonight, sing just right. She said tonight is right. First bite, I'm going like party tonight.
What's the other tune you did that year that took you to the semis?
Human Nature, which was written by Devines and Recession Nice. You remember?
Oh, yeah.
Recession Nice. I did that. I was doing that in the tent also. I used to get about 5 encore with that.
All right.
You know.
Yeah.
Yes, and
but eventually, I think you did Recession Nice in South because you felt those are the 2 tunes that were appropriate to semi-finals.
I did Human Nature.
You did Human Nature.
Yeah, I was confused as to whether I should sing. What happened is that I went into the tent singing and calling politicians' names. I never thought I would see this politician who lost the election by the roadside picking up bottle. And forget the real lyrics of the song, that it was written with other people's names. You know, it wasn't just, the song wasn't really on politicians. It was on the public, like John or James or Mary. And I sang for the whole season because I see people glad when I call in the politician's name.
Right.
So I went that way. And when I realized I'm in the semi-finals now, I couldn't retain the lyrics quick enough to go back to sing it that way.
Right.
So I said, look, could I go into the semi-finals and call these politicians' name? I mean, though they had lost the election, I couldn't tell, and nobody who I asked.
Appropriate anymore.
You know. And then to remember the names that I had before, I might have go scan back and forget. So I said, look, let me just do Human Nature.
Principles are to stand for. Your pride is to keep promises. One word of honor is to ensure. Oh yeah. Sympathy is for the feeling. Your conscience is to have respect for self and neighbor, to be the basis of what consists as human nature.
Let's talk about your relationship with, let's say, people who have written calypsos for you. Devines was one who did a couple calypsos for you.
Yep.
How do you relate to someone writing a calypso for you and coming to terms with what they are trying to say?
Well, actually, the people who have written for me, so strange enough, is like they know me. They would write a song, and I'm speaking about 3 persons in particular: Dennis Williams, Merchant, Gregory Ballantyne,
GB,
and Winston Devines. Winston Devines will tell me, Pose, I have a song for you, and the song is you. And from the time the man played the song, I know that is the song I would like to sing.
Right.
Okay. When GB wrote Refugee.
Refugee in 1998.
Okay. He tried to get a number and called me in New York and sang the song over the phone. I wasn't interested. I say, refugee thing, But when I came down, myself and Oliver Sargent, he died 2 years ago. He used to be my manager here. He took me to GB's home and we went and listened to the song. It was 2 songs, Refugee and another one I did last year. He played the song, and then I realized that something could come out of the song, because again with the humor, I always like to add a little humor in my song, and I took the song, and I knew it was a powerful song then, and I changed certain lines and put in the humor, like the woman in the deep freeze.
Yeah. Now she boyfriend by eating sliming, playing some video game. She feel she left him about him. She feel that they call she name. So she pulled down she curtain to make them feel that she leave. When they really checked the apartment, she was hiding in a deep freeze.
It ain't easy being a refugee. It ain't easy as a refugee.
Bus Conductor, another humorous ditty from 1990. And the fact that you work in PTSC is significant that you wrote that particular Calypso. Talk a little bit about Bus Conductor.
Well, for all the years that I worked in PTSC, it took me, it was like 17 years, and I couldn't see that topic. It was one day in New York, I was in Charlie's record store, and this guy came up and he was like clunging. Posa is a bus conductor, and he working on them women bus, and then it dawned on me, I said, wait, this guy saying something here, because it was about then that women had started driving buses, and there were women drivers and male conductor. Now I was a conductor, and I used to work. Now when a woman or a man driving a bus, he would say that is his bus. So I used to work on men bus,
right,
and I used to work on women bus. So when the guy said that, I said, wait a minute, this guy saying something, and I went and I play around. It took me the whole year trying to find, without having too much anything smutty in it, to get it clean the way I want it, and it happened. I got it.
Everyone opposer is a bus conductor. So long I working, no promotion coming. Instead I hold dispatcher, want to give me pressure. Since they have women driving, it's with them I'm working. But he have a problem. He don't want me work with him, playing he's my friend, but only want me work with him then. I wanna work on Ira bus, I wanna work on Sarah bus, I wanna work on Janet bus, I wanna work on Margaret bus. Not me on Isaac bus, not me on Wilshire bus. I'd rather than fuss than to work on any bus.
There's a tune that I think to date has not yet got its just due, Beyond the Maze, which you sang in 1991, a composition of GB, but which I think you put forward very, very well indeed. Tell us about how you came to terms with that heavy composition.
Yeah, definitely. That was one of the songs that Mr. Sargent had bought from GB the year we went for Refugee. Refugee and Beyond the Maze. So I held Beyond the Maze for the following year, Again, it is one of the most heavily lyrical songs that I have ever sung. And when something is in you, the guy, GB say, Posa, this song is you. Listen to it, I write the song with you in mind. And it took me one day to learn that song. As regards to all the other songs, will take months and weeks, because I take a while to learn anybody's song.
Right.
GB song, one day.
There is a truth that walks through walls and walks on water. There is a natural mystic rising from the mist. Beyond the knowledge we try to derive, employing the senses fine. Beyond that maze, truth always is.
Let's talk about your effort for 1992, and sometimes a tune that I personally like, Beautiful Minor, has a haunting finish to it, and I think it's one of the songs that kept growing throughout the season. Tell us about Sometimes.
Sometimes again is my kind of calypso. If you listen to my track record, you would see that I have sung songs like when we take Granny Advice, Human Nature, which Divines wrote, People, where it takes all different type of people to make the world what it is. I sang a song in 1984-85 with the gentleman who had owned Kingdom of the Wizard. He bet me that I was going to make it to the finals. Nowadays, we have all the good people gone.
Yeah.
You know, nowadays it is so. Nobody seem to care about nobody no more. Is why I'm asking one simple question: where have all the good people gone? You know, and those type of calypsos is what I like to sing. Whether it gives me what I am hoping to achieve in calypso or not, I am going to stay with it because I love that. I feel that is my field, that is my bag. I like the international topics. I like topics that I could relay, that people could relate to my songs, like when I sing abroad. You know, they understand what I'm singing. And I like sweetness and sadness in the song. Sometimes it's a very touching song.
You're jumping on plane and you're going away. Playing tourists in the USA. Sometimes you're right in the Caribbean. Playing big shot in all them islands. You're boasting all about you don't have a child. And if they tell you have one, you're asking why. How you could do what the child could do. But I still have an advice for you, and I tell you. Sometimes you just need somebody. Someday you're gonna need somebody. Sometimes you just need somebody. Someday you're gonna need somebody. I want to hear you say. Sometimes you just need somebody. Someday you're gonna need somebody.
Well, the other tune though was typical Poser. I ain't going home at all today.
I ain't leaving. You know
I
something?
leaving there.
That song has become my closing song on any show.
I ain't leaving this life tonight. She said, I ain't leaving till body life. I ain't going home at all right now. No, no. You can go, I ain't gonna come somehow. She said, I ain't leaving at all today. Not until Byron lead and pay. I ain't leaving until they break. Good one. Sorry, but I still want to shake. Christmas Day I gone by my neighbor to give greetings and glad that it's over. I was expecting something salty, but she bring out only liquor for me. I keep smelling the callaloo, I keep smelling Amanco. I'm gonna ask you to get a taste. You want some of you. Take a drink of this, take a drink of that, take a drink of this, take a drink of that. It's Christmas time and I find she cool. She ain't offering food. Take a drink of this.
Just a little
Take a
taste.
drink of that.
Let's talk about 1993. What are some of the tunes that we can look forward to
Well,
next year?
Like the caller said, that he hoped that I would have songs that people could sit down and listen to. There's a particular song on my album called "The Power of the Children." It says, it tells you how powerful children is in a home, in a relationship, when a father or a mother will be disgusted with each other for whatever reason and would want to walk out of the marriage. You think about the children. If it wasn't for the children, I'd leave you. If it wasn't for the children, I don't go on.
Right.
Fantastic song. It was written by Brother Saline. And there's another song from Dennis Williams called Think About It.
Think about it.
Think about
Well, just in case our viewers forgot what that song sounds like, perhaps we should give them just a small reminder of Think About It.
All this human life that wastes, only war. Lord, is this the human race? All these weapons of destruction they inventing. Why don't they stop and do some serious thinking? If there is righteousness in your heart, there will be beauty in your character. If there is beauty in your character, there will be harmony in your home. Now if there's harmony in the home, there's bound to be order in the nation. And when there's order in the nation, there will be peace in the world. So think about
it.
Fantastic song, if I may say so.
Good composer.
Sorry, but I still want to stay.
What season? Granny, you ready to go home? But why your soul is a little time ago? What season? Ayo, one thing back me lungo. Babola na na